to Alexi.
Your lights flash glow in the virtual battlefield. Sentinel League, let's go. Platinum dreams revealed. Climbing high, we'll soar on the rift of endless light. Strategies we explore through the endless fight.
Come on, wake up.
Sentinel League, rise up.
I'm coming as fast as I can, but I don't think we...
Platinum rank
I'm ulting.
inside.
Might get killed.
Oh, he's not paying attention.
The place to be.
He is not paying
He was looking bot lane.
Victory, our legacy.
We gotta get him with a few.
Y'all won that fight? Y'all won that fight? How?
Yes.
Just a whole turret here too.
What
Yeah,
the
we just got
wumbled him.
That's
Okay, the big ult jumps now. Everyone's just dropping ults. Camille goes down first. Bolivar ults in. He does have Navori's quick blade, but it will not make him any difference in this fight. Okay, the Nico ult does not connect. Only to one. That was a great ult there, but no one's there to follow up for NLR, and he only gets one. Damn, Nami, the backups here. It's a 4v3 in NLR's favor here. Bolivar's half junk. He's trying to heal. He does got the quick blade. He's healing for Moses AP. The Choo-Choo train comes out. Does not connect. Skarner does ulti Orin out of that. They're trying to kill the Skarner. They will pick it up. NLR gets a great pick here for Skarner, walking up trying to secure Vision, I believe. But it doesn't matter. Aurora's on the side, drops the ult, trying to escape. We're all to the other side. You can see Orin fighting the bot lane of Angie. But Simmer packs a punch. One more auto. We'll get the kill, we'll get two. But the auto, the W ricochet gets it. But Camille gets one more. The flash will connect onto the Ash Flash, and then it will be it. This looks like it's going to be a lot of damage, or even the game.
Two pros in the heat of competition. Every match adds more to our lofty ambition. Sentinel League, rise up. Oh, platinum rank inside. Glow. Alexi, the place to be. Victory, our legacy.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to another week here over in LXC. This is our Sentinel match here. Very excited to be here and to be joined by Lala. Heck yeah.
Alright, I'm back.
Right on time, right on time.
Yeah.
It'll be good, man. I've been doing my homework on this matchup. It's a really important matchup specifically for NLR. I believe with this matchup, if they lose this, they have a very slim chance of making it into that playoff bracket for Sentinel. I believe this matchup, as well as a matchup against, let me see, a dropping point is very important for them. So I'm hoping this is going to be a close series.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure too. You know, we're gonna see Doki run no smite, no smite, no flash. So
If he runs no smite, I think we have bigger problems to deal with, to be honest. But I agree. I think it's going to be a really important match. I'm so excited to watch it. I've only heard legends about this jungler over on RAWR's side. I guess the godfather, they say, of this org. So we're gonna see what happens, but it'll be fantastic, I am sure. I was reading some of the chats for these two between these two teams, and I feel like there's a good amount of banter. So I'm excited for that too. I think it's gonna be a spicy one.
I think so too. Knowing how RAWR can get kind of messy, and then NLR taking a game from last week was pretty interesting too. But we'll see. You know, these two teams can go scrappy. You know, let's see if Doki presses F when he needs flash, when he doesn't have it.
I'm sure with all the time he's had prepared not to use flash, he knows what he's doing. But who knows, man? But I was also talking earlier, and I found out that like NLR here, this roster that they had the week 4, they were able to take a game off of Angie last week, which is I think one of the top teams, if not the top team, currently in Sentinel right now. And I'm thinking with this same roster, I really do think they're gonna come up, step out, and put on a show for us today.
I do agree. I mean, this roster really impressed me because uh Pog or Pod agreed. He used to be a support main, so
Mm-hmm.
he used to bust out all the wacky stuff when I was watching him play. Like there was an Iron support once. There was like just random stuff where I'm just like, if he pulls it out, it's like he knows he can play it. So
Oh
I
yeah.
trust NLR. The boys can do their thing.
Mm-hmm. I also think that mid lane matchup I was talking about earlier. So, Pot Agreed was talking very heavily about his Galio, and then looking at his picks from last week, he's put on the Nikos, the Anivias. He's kind of put on these initiator champs. These champs that give his other players the opportunity to shine, right? While Awoke, on the other hand, has been showing a lot of games on the Azir, probably these control mages. So I think it's going to be a very interesting dynamic in the mid lane where we're going to be seeing Pot of Greed trying to enable the rest of his map, get the rest of his players ahead, while the rest of NLR's team, or no, sorry, the rest of RAWR's team is trying to do the exact same thing for Awoke. While I do doubt that the Azir actually makes it through the draft, I do think if he is able to get those control mages, it's really going to be a bad time for an NLR.
Agree. If they let Azir go through, especially if they want to play that, oh, he wants to be the more supportive type, right? I think that would do. But we're still on the patch of Aurora is broken, so
Yes, I have
I
been I have been
yeah.
spamming her in solo queue like nonstop. I was originally like, "Oh, this champ doesn't seem that good," and then finally, like watching people play it as well as being on like the receiving side as well as piloting it, I'm just sitting here like this champ is bonkers, man. But the good thing about it is she is really fun to play. So I bet a lot of our players will be wanting to definitely pilot that champ, and I do think it is something that could be coming out today.
Hopefully, if we do, I think it's just a bet on the Aurora question mark.
I
It's
yeah.
it's a very scary pick. Like it's still hard to deal with. Like not a lot of people are still doing. Even in pro scene, like they're still having problems with. Like they pick Corki against this, still loses. It's just very crazy how Aurora it is as a champ at the moment.
hmm I've found that it's also just looking at the way that it can enable so many other members of its team. I think I watched a game where there was an Aurora top lane and then a Galio, and it reminds me very much of like the old Camille Galio days where you're able to just wombo combo your ultimates on top of each other, and it is just a absolutely insane team fight. And even if she's behind, she's able to place that. I think it's called Between Worlds. Place it down, and it just absolutely does damage to everybody and just causes the team fight to be over as soon as it starts.
Yeah, I do think the nerf should come pretty soon. I think Aurora's like I think her kiss is too good. Her Q damage is based on missing health, or I believe missing health, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's just too. You give it. It's basically hi. Here is a item for free on your queue. So
Yep. It is absolutely devious, that champ. But I think right now she's sitting right around that 50% win rate. And I don't know if that keeps going up as you get to honestly that higher level of play. I would honestly bet because that champ has so much skill expression in her kit. But I think especially if people are trying to implement the proper builds, still like seeing less maybe Roa, more Malignance. I'm a big Malignance fan on that champion. That you have your ultimate up like every 45 seconds. It's absolutely bonkers. Um, but man, yeah, I could keep talking about this champ for forever.
oh, I believe you right there. That champ is like insanely just. I don't know. That champ needs. Well, first match of the day.
hmm
All right, and I believe we're gonna be heading to the draft right now. So
That's my favorite. One of my favorite parts of the game right here is honestly just seeing what these teams have cooked up, right? What have they been doing their homework, right? And I'm just excited to see what we're gonna see from both sides. But RAR starting out on blue side here. I'm expecting the maybe potential Galio ban, as well as I believe a Thresh ban could be coming out from this side.
yep, I do believe that too. I think for NLR side, we might see a Zag ban. I know Zag has been banned from Doki for a while. Oh, we do. I remember our bans Viego.
Very interesting. I'm also very surprised at a Lowy ban this early on in the draft. I've found that champ has the chance to oftentimes be counterpicked, even if she's picked blind. I know she's strong in a lot of people's hands, but we'll see if it ends up paying off. I think they're just trying to ban out, I believe it's Feathers' picks. And that is probably their highest ranked player over on RAR. So I think that is honestly it is a good strat to get rid of that guy's comfort.
Yep. Then Galio's the receiving ban for Royal. Okay, they don't want Potagri to have that at all. Then NLR is gonna ban Urgot, so they're just targeting Feathers here. Knowing Feathers is a really solid player, they're just like, okay, he's the highest ranking player. He's someone that does carry a lot of their game sometimes when you see it. Feathers can hold his own, so they're just trying to make sure that NLR's top laner can actually just be able to play the game for not against someone that he's comfortable.
So finishing out those bans, we had Xerath over on RAR's side and Aurora over on Needlessly Large Rod's side. There's one champion that I'm surprised made it through this ban phase. And that is the bird himself, Azir. So I honestly, unless they have a plan against it, I think that we are expected to see an Azir early on in this draft for RAR.
Hopefully, I'm praying that I think it should be a 0P1, right? Maybe,
Mm-hmm.
or maybe we go into try to take Jinx because I know that they play a lot of Jinx, and it's going to be Briar. Okay, I was like, no way, no way, Dougie picks Briar here.
I was like, no way, no way, no way it shows up this early. But yeah, as expected, the Azir B1 for RAR. And I mean, honestly, what we're going to be expecting is kind of like that hard late game scaling team fighting comp coming from the Azir. He's just such a versatile champion. He can play for that Shurima shuffle style, going in for the assassin in the back line, but he also does a really good job of playing the front to back as well. So I'm really wanting to see what Needlessly Large Rod's play is into this. And we're seeing MF and as well as Zyra. Oh, never mind, not Zyra. Potentially the Braum early on in this draft. I think it's decent. I also think it would be a very good option into the MF as well. But I think moving forward, are we going to see that champion come out? That Vel'Koz maybe?
Maybe I would think that since they're playing a little bit more team focused here. Okay, so it is Volkos.
Mm-hmm.
That's. I think that's going mid for sure. I think Potagri is playing that.
I would expect it to probably be going mid. Those artillery mages are very strong into the Azir. That's most likely why they banned the Xerath as well. Because as when you play Azir, you really just want to be able to like hit the minions without getting contested. And these long range artillery mages, Vel'Koz, Xerath, Ziggs, they just cause so much trouble for the bird. Then we get a Shen pick coming out next. Very surprising we're picking that so early. I guess they just want a very safe blind top and also giving a little bit more safety to that Azir, which is surprising.
Yeah, it could be Shen support. I don't know if RAR support does play. It's a flex pick if they want it to have that. It's good against MF. It's good against Volkos. These people don't have like great mobility skills. They have to walk everywhere. So he's just
Mm-hmm.
gonna just that taunt is very just really strong compared to into that team right now for
Mm-hmm.
RAR's draft.
And then we have Zaya coming out. I will say for RAR's draft, this is actually, I think, a very good and solid backbone for what I would say is like a very solid disengage comp. But they're also playing into a little bit of long range with that Misfortune and Vel'Koz. So if we're expecting to see a little bit more engage from NLR, I think it's a very solid pick. And if that Rel comes through, I think it's not bad.
Yeah, if RAR does come through, I think they're just gonna have a big party. NLR, they're just looking to let's play where MF ult and Volkos ult. They're just like merging everything together there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that just combo of the Misfortune ult as well as the Vel'Koz beam into Rel, just her full engage is going to be absolutely devastating if they get caught. I think it's very much in RAR's shoes to play it well, play for their positioning, and make sure they don't get caught in that wombo combo for sure. But coming up next, we have a Zyra ban on NLR's side, which is interesting because they were the ones that were hovering that pick. I'm guessing they also just don't think that Shen will be support ever, and that's why they're banning the Zyra.
Yeah, I expect it. Zyra's still like a good jungler too. It's always like that's why everyone's playing. It's AP jungler, so
Mm-hmm.
Zyra very good for the other side of even for RAR or even for NLR, right? Both sides really would want to take. I agree with the ban.
Yeah. I also, looking back at it, I did see Doki did play a Zyra game in the jungle as well as that Zac. So maybe these are targeted specifically towards Doki. Um, and I think that could be a very good move for them as well. Just shutting down his strong champs.
And I think the second ban phase, Zac NLR, of course, that's Doki's like signature. So we're not gonna see that. It has won a lot of games off of other people that I've seen over when I've seen of over Doki. So pretty good. That's gone. And then Raw's gonna ban Volibear and Cho'Gath, so they're just trying to shrink down that pool of like their top laners here for
Mhm.
NLR.
Looks like they're just flexing through all of their jungle options, looking through the entirety of the roster. But I was looking at a couple good options there. That Jarvan really stood out to me, especially with the comp that they have. But I think Diana could work as well, keeping them caged in with their ult, getting the Misfortune ult on top of it. I think it'll be pretty nasty, and the Diana ends up getting locked in as well.
Okay, that's really good for NLR. I think J4 would have been a better pick here, just
Mm-hmm.
to help them cage in. Diana ult is not guaranteed if you miss, so but maybe NLR can do it. I doubted them last week, and they showed up. So
Hey, they showed up on the day. And so now we're seeing that Jarvan that we were just talking about over on RAWR. Never mind. Maybe I was wrong. And they end up locking in the Poppy as the final pick, which is actually very good into that rel. It's most likely going to be Poppy support, if I had to guess. Oh, wait a minute. Looking at this now, who is going to be the mid laner for... No, not the mid laner. I'm thinking... Never mind. We have the potential Poppy support as well as Shin support. We still don't know exactly where each is going yet. But Darius could be a strong pick into either of those.
oh yeah, Darius is just gonna. That's a very scary pick against any of those up there. Even Trundle, like Darius, he's just gonna eat. That's that's a
And
really strong
they
pick.
decided the Brazilian himself is actually going to eat. Mordekaiser ends up coming out, and I did originally think that Trundle was a pretty strong pick into the Mordekaiser because he's able to steal the stats right back with his ulti. But I do think this Mordekaiser does a great job of shutting down the Shen as well as the Poppy in some of these fights. But I think from this perspective, my idea is the Mordekaiser going to get enough value because the rest of his team is kind of trying to go in and wombo, while the Mordekaiser is going to be pulling someone out. Right, so they're going to be taking someone away from that fight, make sure that he's staying safe. While RAR, they're playing that kind of, they're trying to just play fallback, let needlessly large rods make a mistake, and hopefully have the damage with the Azir and Zaya there.
I do agree. I think it's very hard for NLR to try to get that wombo off. I think they're just gonna have to purely just try to stat check a little bit more.
Mm-hmm.
So MF does pack a punch. Her passive does a lot more damage than we would think overall. But I think RAR's draft, knowing who doesn't go jungle, I think this is maybe Trundle jungle, Shen top, and Poppy support. That
Okay.
might be the thing because we're trying to counter Rel, right? So that's why I think Poppy should be it support wise. If not, it should be Shen support. I think this Poppy's either top or jungle or support. It shouldn't be top against Mordekaiser because
Mm-hmm.
that's a very bad.
I mean, realistically, I don't see any of those potential top laners other than the Trundle doing well. But I think with the fact that this Trundle is most actually, well, maybe this is insider information, but looking at it, it looks like the Trundle might actually be going top lane now, which could make it so that this matchup is a bit easier, and so the Mordekaiser isn't going to be able to snowball this lead. But you also got to be thinking for needlessly large rods, they have 3 pretty heavy magic damage dealing carries. And I think with a Shen and a Poppy on the opposing side, I think it's going to be easy MR or easy magic resist stacked over there.
Oh yeah, for sure. Oh, and it is a Shen jungle. That is
The LS tech, right?
yeah,
Um,
I liked it when it was first coming out. It's very hard now because the meta has shifted into like, hey, you have to, meta shift, and Shen was really good when everyone wants to brawl. Now everyone wants to play control mages, but I think Shen jungle is actually perfectly fine into this team. But
mhm,
then again, we have the Brazilian himself who can send you to Brazil
mhm.
at 6. I'm very scared for this Shen. Like, I'm not gonna lie, even in the
I
jungle, yeah.
I think I think the ganks will be very good. I think a lot of people will not be expecting the jungle Shin to just pop level 6 from the middle of nowhere and just show up in your lane. But I also think even a Shin just walking River Shin just walking through into your lane, he's gonna taunt you and he's gonna give you some problems. Is what I'm thinking.
Yeah, hopefully we can see River Shed like Doki has to put in a lot of work this early game, and his team. I don't know if the comp for RAR is gonna really support that. We do have people that are like waiting for 6 or Well, we don't know, right? Maybe they have some kind of thing they're cooking up. I know Poppy. Depending if this Poppy wants to go super tank or just super lethality, where it's Poppy just runs Hail Blades and just runs you down. You know, the LXC special that we've been seeing a lot recently.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe we'll see that, but it could be full tank Poppy, stack it more, have a great time. I think for sure that's how it's gonna go. Maybe NLR wins mid game, or we see. I think mid game's like the scary part, right? Everyone has like 6 to 11. We just see everybody just juiced up, ready just to have a great fight.
Mm-hmm. The way I see this game going is I think on NLR's side they have very strong laning phases. I think the Vel'Koz is going to do very well into the Azir. I believe the Mordekaiser is going to do well, as well as just the Mordekaiser Diana duo versus that Trundle Shin. I think is going to be very powerful on the Mord side, especially if he's able to ult the Shin in those fights. But as the game continues to go and go, I think it becomes more and more in RAWR's favor. Just having that Zaya and that Azir to do constant TPS, especially when you're playing into a team that wants to go into you for the most part. I think honestly NLR is really going to have to carry a lead early and take it to the finish line before RAWR can catch up.
Yeah, for sure. Sure. All right, and that'll be all. We will catch you guys when Spectre delay is done. We're going on break
Mhm.
now. See y'all.
You know I don't play right. Just give me the word, uh-huh, uh-huh. You know I don't play right. Don't give me this. I'm gonna get back when I feel like. You know I don't play right. I'll put up a good fight. Just give me the word, uh-huh, uh-huh. You know I don't play right. You know I don't play right. Don't give me this. I'm gonna get back when I feel like. Don't give me this. Uh-huh, uh-huh. You know I don't play right. I'll put up a good fight. Just give me the word, uh-huh, uh-huh. You know I don't play right. You know I don't play right. Don't give me this. I'm gonna get back when I feel like. You know I don't play right. Just give me the word, uh-huh, uh-huh. You know I don't play right. Don't give me this. I'm gonna get back when I feel like. You know I don't play right. Just give me the word, uh-huh, uh-huh. You know I don't play right. Don't give me this. I'm gonna get back when I feel like. You know I don't play right. I'll put up a good fight. Just give me the word, uh-huh, uh-huh. You know I don't play right. You know I don't play right. Don't give me this. I'm gonna get back when I feel like. Don't give me this. Uh-huh, uh-huh. You know I don't play right. I'll put up a good fight. Just give me the word, uh-huh, uh-huh. You know I don't play right. You know I don't play right. Don't give me this. I'm gonna get back when I feel like. You know I don't play right. Just give me the word, uh-huh, uh-huh. You know I don't play right. Don't give me this. I'm gonna get back when I feel like.
Okay. I'm currently sitting here waiting on this game to get started, and I'm looking at a potential pause here at 14 minutes. Lala, I don't know if you see the same thing on my side. Oh, there we go. Never mind. We are back. We're now into the game. Perfect. All
By the
right.
way, badger means 14 seconds, not 14 minutes. We're not one of
No,
them.
no, never mind. We didn't miss that much time. Sorry. Got my units of measurement mixed up there. That's on me, guys. But honestly, looking at this level 1 here, it looks like it's just going to be standard, which is actually kind of surprising because I was honestly expecting a little bit of cheese from this jungle Shen. but that is not going to be the case today.
Looking at Shin Rune's choices, I do agree on Hellblades. Hellblades is the normal LS thing to do. You know,
Mhm.
just get the 3 hits, walk away. It does a lot of damage, mind you. It does pack a hit, but after
Mhm.
that, Shin's kind of really, it was really weak. We
Yeah.
see. Ooh.
Oh, hang on. There's a little bit of action there up towards the top side as we see Doki and Notorious TLP getting into a little bit of a scuffle. But also looking back on the Shin runes here, I think the one benefit of him taking Hail of Blades here is that we're seeing Ultimate Hunter as well as Cheap Shot, which are actually very strong secondary runes here. So hopefully he'll be able to R around the map a little bit more. But we're getting into the starting and laning phase here, and just getting everything ready. And we're seeing a little bit of action already bot side here as the Xerix goes in with E, and it looks like there's potential solo kill early on as Be Awesome uses his barrier and barely gets away, but having to back out already before 2 minutes.
Oh yeah, that's a very interesting start there. Hellblades popping, everyone. This is the scary thought of having getting hit by a wall and getting whacked by a hammer 3 times.
Man, you see the Hail Blades from both that Poppy and that Shin. I think these two are going to be a terror in these before these first 10 minutes end. But that really is not the start you want to see from You Be Awesome. But honestly, it looks like Jonikis and Xerath are just slow pushing that wave in bot side. And looks like they're going to try to punish that.
Yeah, we do see the top lane matchup. No, yeah, I expect how it goes. You know, Mordekaiser wins this until 6, and then it just becomes who ults first and potentially try to trade from there on.
Mm-hmm. And I will say, when looking at these lane matchups that we're seeing, it is expected that NLR is going to be favored in winning these lanes. As Vel'Koz is a very strong matchup into the Azir, as well as you would expect the Mordekaiser before that 6 to be pretty strong in dominating the lane as top. As we also see that using Q gets a really nice ward. Unfortunately, it doesn't see the Shen, as both his Gromp and Blue are gone. But it does show that, hey, Doki most likely is on the bot side of the map. And that really should put a little bit of worry on UB Awesome and CC.
Oh yeah, that means that this could be a potential dive here. Maybe. Doki skips red buff.
Doki skipping red buff, but he is spotted on that ward there in the river brush. As he's walking up, looks like he's going for the scuttle on this bot side river play. Very interesting to skip the red, I will say, but I guess it is applying a bit more pressure to Pot of Greed here on the Vel'Koz.
Yeah, we just see a big bot lane trade here too from both sides there. RAWR. Xerax getting a very good E onto Rel there, trading a little bit there, and then we see a top lane fighting right now.
Scrapping back. Oh, we see an E in. And we see a taunt miss, unfortunately, from Doki there. As we are able to see that the MF flash is now burned. So both Psalms have been burned from this misfortune. But we see Xerax on the Poppy contesting these two wards here in this to get vision here, as well as to potentially prevent UB Awesome and CC from getting any of this experience moving forward.
We do see top lane there, you know, Diana attempting to gank Trundle there, but both top laners use Ghost. I think Notorious TLP coming to save using Q for you out there, almost getting traded out there. Very good stuff from NLR covering each other from there.
Oh, and we're seeing another scuffle here in the bot lane as CC's death goes in with Rel, goes in with the W. We're seeing that Jonikis uses barrier here, and he's cutting it out, and we get a first blood here from Xerax with, I believe, the Ignite used to secure that kill. Unfortunately, it doesn't go over to Jonikis. I know he's probably seething at the mouth, wanting all that gold, but still very favorable and a great start from RAWR.
I'm liking this RAWR bot lane, actually. They're really aggressive. They're using this Poppy, like, to the best of their abilities right now. Like, okay, we just keep pushing, you know, like, with the side LR, you know, they're just walking into walls and Poppy's just enabling, you know, okay, we'll just fight everything.
This is the exact start you want from RAWR, right? Like I said, these unfavorable matchups, and you're seeing that actually the bot lane matchup, that Poppy is really coming in for that counter pick onto the Rel, and they're just getting a lot of value, and they're really starting to build that gold lead up, even 5 minutes into this game.
Oh yeah.
And now we're seeing a potential dragon start here from the side of NLR. It looks like there's going to be no contest as Doki is on the other side overtaking his Gromp. And while it might be a dragon trade over to NLR, there is the opportunity that Grubs could be taken for RAWR as a trade.
NLR's jungler, Notorious TOP, not even backing it, greeting out even more a little bit.
Looks like there's going to be an attempt at a gank, a flash in from the Rel, but she is stopped by that steadfast presence from Poppy. And unfortunately, that flash is going to go to waste as that Poppy is just able to absolutely shut her down.
Ooh. There we go. What we talked about in draft, Poppy denying all the dashes and everything like that. There's one example.
Looking at it, this is just a great comfortable spot for RAWR, right? They're sitting here. They're down a little bit in farm, but Jonicus is coming off of a very good base with that best friend sword. And we're looking at Misfortune having to just now get her back done. She's just had so much trouble in this lane that she hasn't really been able to get it off. And we're seeing a Vamp Scepter come out, potentially that Bloodthirster Rush, which will give her a little bit more tankiness and that AD that she needs in these fights. But we're going to see. And we actually see that now using Q for You is able to finish off these Grubs here, which is actually a very surprising trade that NLR was able to get both the Grubs as well as the Drake.
When we see a mid lane shuffle there that Zier attempted with Doki there coming in, they're like, oh, they almost got it, but Pot of Greed will just flash out, save his life. That's a very good timer for now for RAWR, knowing that Doki can just come back, and if Volkaz oversteps, it's just going to be easy pickings from there.
The easiest of pickings right there. Getting it right from the tree, it's so good. But yeah, now we see, honestly, at this point in the game, we're seeing only a 1k gold lead, which is honestly at this point a little bit high, but it's not as blown out as we thought it would be, to be honest. I was honestly expecting a little bit more from these the NLR side laners, hoping to get a little bit more of a gold lead. And actually what we're seeing is Azir actually has the gold lead over. But moving forward, we see that Poppy goes in with that steadfast presence, and we see the Rel goes in with her W. And we get a R out from the Jonicus, and they are able to get that kill. That is just a very, very hasty engage, and unfortunately, he gets punished for it bot lane.
Yeah, that's kill picked up right there for the side of RAWR. This is very good. They're making the use of this support pick Poppy very well.
And we're looking. Oh, wait a minute. What is Doki up to? He is not letting You Be Awesome have a awesome time, to be honest. He is getting absolutely demolished here. But now Doki's having to walk out. We see a flash in and a Diana ult onto Doki here, and they are able to get that kill for Doki, overstepping a little bit. And now we see Xerix very low HP here. It does not look like he's going to be able to get caught down unless maybe Rel is able to remount, but it looks like there's going to be nothing else here. And that is a spicy little interaction there. I'm surprised Doki kind of got caught a little bit there. Got sleeping.
But as much as I know, I think that's more like a Doki special for me. Because Doki's always, yeah, Doki's always known to get caught a little bit like that, overextending a little bit of the plays. But it sometimes really does work. So it's like a 50-50. It's like a double-edged sword for Doki here.
I agree. I think if that worked, it's an amazing play. And unfortunately, it didn't work out this time. But that's not gonna. I bet you that's not gonna stop him from making more plays like this in this game. It's already been an exciting one. But like a lot of the action has been in this bot lane, right? But we're seeing actually the Trundle now has a very sizable CS lead against this Mordekaiser, which is honestly not what I was expecting coming into this game.
Not expecting it either, knowing that Mordekaiser is pushing him constantly under tower. But I think Feathers is just freezing the lane up there, so that he's just gaining a lot of just a lot of gold impossible. Just saying that, hey Mordekaiser, you have to come fight me at my tower. You have to do this, and it's causing the Mordekaiser not to gain so much CS lead. So.
Seems like there could be a little. Oh, we're seeing another engage there from the Poppy. This Poppy is just so oppressive. Has such good bush control versus this Rel as well. I am very pleased and very surprised with how this RAWR bot lane has put on a performance today.
Oh, Doki here.
No.
With a big taunt.
Very good shuffle there. As Woke is having to walk out now, but Pot of Greed is walking down into his jungle. Doki does not know that Diana is actually up on the top side, and so the Vel'Koz is able to fly on up back to his tower, completely safe.
Attempt, no flash. Volkaz managed to sidestep a little bit. Lives pretty good.
Very good to see, yeah. I bet you on the side of RAWR, they're probably pretty disappointed that didn't work out because I believe that is the Azir ulti that it was used. But Woke still has his flash available, so there is the opportunity for a play to come up in these next couple minutes as well. And we're seeing now the top side of NLR is trying to get a good amount of vision set up on the top side jungle here for. Oh, and we actually see a solo kill over on Awoke. I'm guessing that this Vel'Koz just didn't and underestimated the damage that a bird can do. But hey, a bird can do it.
Oh yeah, that was very greedy of Pot of Greed there. He could have reset it after that way, but he decided that he wanted one more to probably get his item. But I guess that's how he paid for greed, you know? He's Pot of Greed for a reason.
Pot of Greed. Hey, sometimes it's a little too greedy, but here it ended up working out. And we see that now it's actually going to be a dragon trade here as RAWR takes over, I believe, that Cloud Drake, while now NLR is sitting on what I believe is 4 grubs. So they are able to get that Void Might passive, which is actually going to be pretty big for the Mordekaiser. I will say it would be better to have the grubs probably on the side of RAWR, but it's still good that they were able to get it done. To deny those grubs especially.
Yeah, for sure. I do agree with you there. And then we do see a gauge from Poppy here.
And we're seeing, yep, she's steadfast presence is in to deny that potential Rel engage, and we see the Rel is able to W out. Doki, unfortunately, was a little bit slow, and we see that attempt at a gank did not work out. Still nothing happening there, no blows here. And we see that the Diana is spotted out in her jungle, so they know that something could potentially happen here. And cutting back here, we see that the Poppy is able to get behind the Misfortune and E her back with a steadfast presence with Doki R'ing in, and it looks like it's going to be a potential kill on UB. Awesome. He misses the taunt. Oh, but we see that the Poppy Q gets it, and we see that Shin goes in, but Diana is able to R out and disengage that to make it so it's only a 1 for 0.
Oh, very good for the side of RAWR right there. Actually, that, you know, Doki Shen out there coming in handy. And
and we're seeing another re-engage there. He was spotted on that vision. This Poppy is getting so much done with her steadfast presence and that E to shut down that Diana here. Oh, and we're seeing, oh my goodness, Awoke was able to sneak back behind, come in with the E flash, Shurima shuffle, and get the kill on that Rel. And right now, RAWR is absolutely running away with this game.
Oh yeah, giving Awoke that signature pick right there should be a wake-up call for NLR, maybe banning the Azir next time. But then again, they only get 3 bans, so...
You do get 3, that is for sure. But I mean, an Azir at this point with 2 kills, his Nashor's Tooth already completed, this is going to be a lot of trouble for NLR. And I'm just looking here. I will say the one maybe saving grace is the fact that Poppy does have all of those kills, while Xayah is currently sitting at 0, 0, and 4. So if I'm Poppy, I'm having a good time, but...
Support carry, you know, ADC support. It's just role swap through today.
Honestly, from the way this game has been going, I would give it to Xerax. This guy has been putting on a performance. I mean, now we're seeing the Poppy come back down, looking for another potential cheeky E onto that Misfortune here. But he's getting shut down here.
Yeah. I do want to point out Mordekaiser did finish his Raleigh scepter, so I'm hoping he sends someone to Brazil and he gets a free pick in there, because that's a really big item spike to just slow down somebody that he hits, and that aura that he can just chase people down with. Some people are not ready for that.
I'm looking here at the Trundle as well. While Trundle doesn't have a completed item, I think honestly at this point the Trundle is going to be able to start dueling this Mordekaiser. Oh, and we see actually a fantastic flash engage there from the Diana, but it unfortunately doesn't work out as the Poppy is able to disengage that with her ultimate there. And we just see her get flown back as well as flown to the grave as she absolutely got demolished there.
It was pretty bold. Jungler started fighting early, but then it didn't end up well for our side. And we do see RAWR taking this Rift Herald. Will they go top? Will they go mid? Potentially bot? Who knows?
I mean, yeah, but and we're seeing there's potential scuffle here after this Rift Herald trying to contest that River Brush's vision. And we see Poppy going in with steadfast presence. The Vel'Koz is able to flash out there. Oh, and it looks like Doki has been stopped in his tracks, preventing him from going in for that taunt. And we actually see a TP come out from the Azir here to contest this. We are seeing a Fiesta here in the mid lane.
Fiesta, you know. We do see that Doki is going for the more supportive build. The normal LS build, I believe. You know, you get Redemption, you get Nice Vow, you get all these cheap items so that you can just keep constantly ganking in the map and just like providing team with utility and support. I do like how they give the Herald to Trundle because they know that Trundle can split push it and get like all the towers here.
like I said, with that Shin build, a lot of the strength it gets is the fact that he is building a lot of the cheap support items that the primary stat they're giving is that CDR, right? The CDR and that R is what makes this pick shine. If you are able to constantly have your R up, also having it to where your opponent doesn't know when that cooldown is going to be going off, it really becomes super strong. And I think that's something that NLR really are going to have to be worrying about, as honestly, these outer turrets are getting absolutely demolished as the Trundle took that top one with Rift Herald and Nazir is able to just chop away and get that bot tower.
Well, they get a pick here on the support. Ooh.
Ooh, and he's able to W out here. But it looks like RAWR is chasing for more, but they do get a very nice stun with that lance there. And it looks like nothing's going to happen this time.
Very close. That's a really good send for RAWR, knowing that walls are their friends. So.
And Doki having to taunt out, and it looks like now, surprisingly, NLR actually has control over this Dragon Pit. There is potentially the angle, as we see that RAWR is on the bottom side of this pit, looking potentially to contest, but we saw that the Mordekaiser is now here at this fight. Oh, and we see that the Mordekaiser chooses to R the Poppy, but Poppy just R's him right back and is able to knock him away. What we're seeing is a huge misfortune ult, but we see that Awoke goes in with the Zero, and he's able to get the carries, he's able to get the Rel, but we see Trundle now hammering down on that misfortune. We see Diana ulting on top, but unfortunately it ends up being a 5-for-0 for RAWR here, and that was just an absolute domination there.
It was a very good cleanup for RAWR right there. They played that very well, you know, knowing that Azir can just go straight to the backline. I think NLR wasn't really prepared for that. MF falls for that. And that mid ult getting shuffled back into the team of RAWR. It was very good for RAWR's side. Very clean.
This Azir is absolutely going to work. With 6 kills, a needlessly large rod in his pocket. Unfortunately, hey, that's supposed to be your opponent's item, but he's stealing it from him this time. And it is just looking like an absolute nightmare for NLR at this point.
Yeah, this Poppy pick is putting so much work in right now, actually. Like, it's causing NLRs to just really need to just farm up, try to focus one person maybe, even if they can. But Poppy's been denying most of it all here.
Oh, and we're looking at a flash engage here. Q-Lance, we're going in with the Rel R onto this Azir. It looks like, he's having to flash away here potentially. Oh, and we see a re-engage here with the Poppy E into this Rel. But it is looking like they're going to be able to disengage this fight. Unless we see that NLR... Oh, they get rooted here, and the Diana gets caught out by that Trundle pillar. We are just not seeing any successes here for NLR in this game.
Their attempts are very nice, but it's not... NLR, I don't think they have the items right now to just attempt those, you know? They're a little bit behind in the gold lead, and it's not really in favor of their attempts right now.
I always like to say sometimes you just get wallet diffed in fights, and unfortunately at this point in the game you're kind of getting wallet diffed, to be honest. There are just such big gold leads on the side of RAWR, and it's going to be just very hard unless NLR is able to get a miracle pick on these sides. And potentially they do have that option with the Rel and the Diana to make something happen, but it's going to be an uphill battle moving forward.
Yeah, this is a very big uphill. I would think NLR would have to be wouldn't have to really make a pick that happens with Mordekaiser. Maybe they try a very favorable team fight in them. It's very, very slim chances that I see NLR winning like a very big team fight without poking someone out. I think RAWR is just looking to keep running at them. So,
and honestly, we're seeing that Xerix is getting some deep vision, but he's actually not able to get over the blast cone there. But thankfully, wait a minute, we're seeing that Mordekaiser ghosts in here. Maybe he's looking for a free one-way trip. Never mind, he just decides to walk it out. And that's Ghost Burn from the Mordekaiser there.
Yeah, that's a pretty important summoner there. I like the attempt though. You know, using Q for you was like, we have to try to look here for somebody, and Poppy was a good target.
And as we can see now, the Poppy is choosing to pop it, and we get a massive Shurima shuffle there from Awoke as he is able to catch the misfortune out of her R. And then we see an absolutely fantastic showing here from Awoke as he's able to get so much damage off with his turret. And they are just running down this mid lane. They're probably going to get... Oh, they're looking at Baron here, actually, which is a very good call.
Yeah, I like the Baron call here. Using Mordekaiser, getting a turret here for their compensation of trying to make sure they can try to stabilize. on NLR, but this is a good call. Baron for RAWR. Azir is 2 items. Shen is 2 items with cheap items, and then Trundle is just splitting bot lane as we speak.
Mm-hmm. The one benefit that they do get from taking that tower is that objective bounties are up, but I do think that the trade of one objective bounty for a Baron and 3 of your teammates might not necessarily be worth it for the side of NLR. But they are kind of just taking what they can get here.
Mm-hmm.
As we can see, the next Drake, the Hextech Drake, is coming up very soon here. I think there is the potential for there to be a last-ditch fight, but honestly, I think that if NLR is not going to go contest this, I think it might be belly up for them.
Yeah, I do agree there too. This is probably the one fight that they have to really make it work, and I don't really see NLR trying to pull this out. Maybe they can try to get a pick here or something like that. It has to be a miracle play from NLR. They're just so far in the duel deficit. I don't see them bouncing back from here.
Mm-hmm. And we're looking here at a Vel'Koz that might be out of position as Xerix comes in and gets the stun, and that is unfortunately a dead squid. Oh my goodness. And they are going to be able to get a nice push on that bot lane inhibitor here. Oh, and now as we move to the top side, we see that Feathers chooses to ghost out here as he doesn't want to cause any commotion while the rest of his team is pushing that inhibitor. But it looks like it's just going to be a free inhibitor take here for the side of RAWR.
I would have thought that Feathers would have just swapped that. I mean, that would have been a very interesting kind of test there. You know, he does have Bork, he does have Hydra. Those are really strong items. Even the Sheen right there. I would have think he might have actually just won the 1v2.
But even still, this RAWR team is using their Baron excellently, and they're able to just break open this enemy base as the turret mid lane is almost down, as well as that inhibitor is probably going to be following right behind it, as they're probably going to be able to break this tower with this next Baron wave. Oh, and we see that the Azir is actually caught out and put into the Death Realm here, but the Azir is able to use that wall to buy a ton of space, as we see that they are going now onto the realm, but we see a Diana engage get 2, but Trundle is able to put in so much damage. They are ignoring him, and he is just clobbering away at this team. Wait, a quadra kill? Are we going to see what I hope we get to see? Feathers is going in for that final blow. They're trying to set him up for success here. Oh, but we get the Vel'Koz flash out, and unfortunately, it looks like they're not going to give it to him.
Respect to Dougie trying to give that to Feathers.
Mm-hmm. Maybe there's still a little bit of time on the clock. Who's to say? Oh, are we going to see it here? The Poppy takes the kill as she took all the kills from that Xayah here. We're seeing that these... Oh my goodness, this Poppy unfortunately takes away that pentakill potentially. And we are looking at the potential end of this, honestly, very quick game 1.
No, I mean, draft-wise, it looks... I really like this so much. I think the Poppy support pick was like the super ultimate.
Yes, I think for one, that Poppy did absolutely amazing, as well as just shutting down the Rel, as well as putting on so much pressure on all of the members of NLR. I also think the fact that Azir got through, that's not going to be happening for the rest of this series. Awoke put on such a great performance on the bird, and I just think the two bird carries, the Xayah and Azir, were just too much for NLR to handle there.
Oh yeah, for sure. NLR's draft, they really needed ways for their mid game to be really more stable, but then, you know, Xerix and Jonah against the bot lane and RAWR were just like, all right, let's just change it. Let's play at our pace. And MF and Ro could bot lane of NLR couldn't handle the pressure. They were like, oh, how do we deal with this? And they just kept, getting out traded by a Poppy and Xayah at that point. So it was a very very rough bot lane for NLR.
Yeah, I think we're gonna have to see something that potentially will either a Poppy ban, or as well Poppy and Azir have to be banned here. But then it also opens up the fact that Feathers' champ pool, both the Urgot and that Alawi got banned. So something is gonna have to be let loose or re-brought back into this game for really, I guess, NLR to really put on a performance. But that was an absolute, in the lightest way possible, massacre. I'll be honest. That was a brutal game for NLR to start off this series.
Yeah, this is a very hard one. I don't know how I would switch it up, maybe go for maybe not too hard of a heavy lead jungle for NLR. I know Diana needs a really good lead to have that start kick up, but then we did see Torres TLP switch into mid item. So that, I think that's really one of the downfalls for Diana. You really need just to push one item really fast.
Mm-hmm.
I think RAWR. I think Doki played it great. You know, he did the Shen thing. I'm just buying cheap items. I teleport everywhere. Hello, I'm annoying. I'm just here to do that. So I think Eldar switches draft. I think they switch the ADC up. Maybe get a a Jinx or a Kaisa. That's what we saw. That's what I saw last week. Where I think UB Awesome can just like totally completely snowball out of it. You know, change the MF a pace, give him a little bit more movement speed, give him some resets. You know, something like that. I think I like that kind of switch up for NLR.
Mm-hmm. And now, as we're seeing moving into game 2, we see that NLR is going to be taking red this game. So I believe it is going to be the same side actually for NLR. So maybe they know something, and they're going to be changing up those initial bans, because they do still want to keep that counter pick for their top laner, or as well their mid laner potentially.
Mm-hmm. Hopefully, we do see Aurora get banned. I don't want teams to just maybe right if Azir gets banned and Poppy gets banned, if that third ban will be very very kind of deciding on do we still ban something from Feathers, or do we just target ban Awoke here? I'm very kind of scared for NLR, right? They have to make 3 picks really worth it. They might have to sacrifice something here for sure.
Mm-hmm.
So
I think the key to this is you have to find something that either you have a support that is able to make those plays, and not get absolutely countered by Xerx's Poppy there, or you also need to give mid laner a better or matchup and make sure that that mid laner is not allowed to play his comfort champ, right? Because that Azir, like I said, took over that game. He was absolutely dominant in the team fights, putting so much pressure on the Vel'Koz and the Misfortune. You really need to be seeing a performance show up for Pot of Greed, as well as I believe CC.
yeah, hopefully we do get a little bit of a switch up here. I really want to see NLR try once again. So
Mm-hmm. I will say, I know you mentioned earlier that you were hoping not to see the Aurora, but I do think with those champs that we saw in that game 1, I think there is the opportunity that it might make it through the ban phase. And I'm of the opinion that I love watching Aurora play these games because I do think it is a very skillful champion, and I think it puts on a great show for us casters and hopefully the viewers at home.
yeah. I'm excited. That was a really spicy pick from RAWR. I was thinking Poppy was gonna be jungle, maybe top, and they became support, and then I'm I'm actually pretty surprised the Shen jungle still works. I thought it was very outruled already by everyone else, but it Doki showed, so
Mm-hmm.
can't complain. Can't complain.
Doki showed up. I will say, I was hoping the Shen jungle, it was impactful, but I was hoping for a little bit more spice from the pick. I mean he got in there. He was causing a lot of commotion, but it ended up being that the picks that we were expecting just ended up being everywhere around Doki, and Doki was just able to be that support Shen. He's like, hey, I'll give you guys the shielding, and it ended up not mattering that the plays that he made. But we'll see what happens here in game 2.
Pretty sure probably thinking about maybe we gotta take this out, this out. Hopefully RAWR sticks with the same bands. I think if they let Galio go through, I know they just picked J4 Galio straight up for NLR and they just play the hey, we're just gonna go through. I really like NLR's draft when they pick J4 and Galio because they execute very well. Surprising, a very hard thing to execute, EQR, layer the R, layer ults. They're good at that for NLR. Surprisingly, I really didn't think it was gonna work like that, but NLR has shown differences in that. So
I would expect that if the Azir is going to get banned, I really, really hope that it does. I would expect that a Xerath ban is dropped, because Xerath is one of those potential counters into the Azir. But I also said Vel'Koz was a counter into Azir, and we saw how that went game 1. So maybe they choose to still keep it. But I do think that there is going to be a lot of change here in these first 3.
sure, if maybe we get an Aurora game. Maybe we get
I'm
a
so
Azir run
hopeful.
back. I know, I'm waiting. I actually want to see it too, even though I hate it because I'm just like, we don't see a lot of Aurora. Everyone bans it, but now it's like,
I've been seeing it. I've been seeing Angie pick it up a little bit. Shout out to very talented player right there. Also been seeing it a good amount in Crusader. I think people are really enjoying it, and I think that's good to see. Maybe it's just only enjoyable in the people who are actually playing it, and not the people playing against it. But, maybe I'm biased. I'm a mid laner, so.
we're going straight right into the draft. Let's go.
Mhm. All right, hopping in here, I would expect to potentially see that Galio ban here from RAR. We're seeing the Viego, so it's going to be a potential run back from the first game.
Okay. Got banned for NLR again. Okay, so no Poppy ban? Question mark?
I
Maybe
think
Aurora?
we'll potentially see if that shows up here in this first ban. I'm really okay. We're seeing the Azir. That's a very good ban here from the side of NLR. And I'm honestly expecting a Poppy ban for that third ban on NLR's side. But they're actually choosing to ban the Mordekaiser on the side of RAR. I'm guessing maybe it was a. Oh, never mind. They're choosing to ban the Galio. It is the exact same bans from the side of RAR, and they're leaving up the Poppy from last game.
Okay, I do like this. Now, Roar has that as a threat. They're just like, okay, so if you ever pick an engaged champion, we're just gonna pop the Poppy. Just have
Mhm.
that.
There could also be the potential of them saving their support pick for later in this draft to maybe make it not as, ooh, I'm a Poppy. I'm going to absolutely ruin your day. They're going to try to pick a support or pick it later in the draft where the Poppy maybe isn't as favorable for them. And looking in, we see an Alawi first pick here. I've heard the Legend of Feathers is Alawi, but I'm honestly surprised we see it B1 of a draft.
A very confident pick for Roar there. I know Feathers is a very great, like he's a very good Lowy player, but first picking it blind, this man's confidence is through the roof.
If I'm on NLR side, I've seen a nasty. I know we saw him last game, but seeing a Mordekaiser here to ruin that Alawi's day could really be strong. But we're actually seeing a Scion come out here, which is actually very surprising. And that is not the matchup I would expect you want to play into the Alawi here.
Yeah, I think that's like the losing side for Scion. You're just gonna get bullied out here. And NLR picks Jinx. Let's go!
They're just going.
Finally!
They were hovering all of those hyperscalers there. They were hovering the Zeri, the Smolder, and they end up going with the Crazy Girl. And I mean, I honestly think she's pretty good. She gets the job done, right? But we'll have to see what support really pairs with it. If they're going to go with more of that disengage, the Thresh, the Tom Kench, or if they're going to go more with that Enchanter style, right? That really limits and also inhibits the ability of a Jinx to either pop off or maybe just play a little safer.
Yeah, Roar does pick up Pike and they're hovering Akshan. I think Pike is a very scary pick. Roar actually picked a really good pick here. Uh,
Mhm.
with Scion and Jinx, it could be just a very tough time.
I am surprised to see the Pike this early in the draft. Oh, but they're actually never mind. If it's with the Draven, that is a very dominant lane from RAR. But I honestly, if I'm on the side of NLR here, I would be wanting to potentially draft a little bit more beefy disengage. When you're playing against a Pike, I feel like the Pike is going to absolutely be able to bully an Enchanter in that lane. But I'm really liking that Thresh pick here from NLR. I think that is one of the better picks into that lane, just to keep that Jinx safe and maybe let her be able to go crazy and do her thing later. And that's what ends up happening.
Yeah, I believe NLR support, but best CC, he actually does main Thresh, and that's why it's always been banned. I guess Roar let Thresh go through, and this is a very scary, it's very scary to see. I've never seen his Thresh live in game yet, so
Hey, sounds
very
like we have
cool to see.
a treat then, yeah. It's gonna be good. But now we're seeing the Amumu ban come out from NLR. It looks like they are aiming to target still Doki's picks. I'm surprised we still haven't seen that Zac ban that we've been talking about. I think it could potentially work well with this pick of they're wanting to go in with the Draven and Pike, and nothing's better than going in than the Goo Man, right? The Goo Man will go in.
Oh yeah, for sure. I do like how they're targeting Doki's picks. Doki does play a fair bit of Momu. No flash, by the way. Still ignite.
No flash.
Crazy on the Momu.
Mm-hmm. He's gonna find those bandage tosses wherever they are. If you get in range of his bandage, it is going around you and you are getting stunned. And there's that Zac ban. There's Goo Man that we were talking about, and he gets taken away.
They're not gonna let him have it, of course. It's a good ban. Like, look at the team of Raw. They just want to go. Like Draven Pike. It's just, hey, we're trying to just go. So
Mm-hmm. And from the side of NLR, they've drafted a very strong, very like big front line that's going to allow the Jinx to have a little bit of room. So honestly, what I'd be expecting from RAR is more picks that are going to be able to find that sneaky angle onto the Jinx and pop her, because if she's gone, a lot of their damage is limited on the side of RAR. So we'll have to see what comes out here as Doki is hovering through his champions again, as we might see the AP jungle, the Zyra brand. I'm always a fan of them, but we're going to have to see as a new hovers coming out.
yes, NLR is hovering.
You know, that is true. That was a mistake of mine, but you know, it is NLR that's hovering, so we'll never know. Maybe Doki was hovering those and we just didn't get to see it, you
Ooh,
know?
Lilia pig's actually pretty decent. Good
Mhm.
sleep. It's a good pick. Gets in and out. It stops RAWR from just like a full sending it. Fear, is in there.
Mhm. Adds a little bit of AP to NLR side. Also opens up the opportunity for an AD mid. If NLR wants to go with it, it obviously is optional here, but Lilia can solo AP if needed. But we're seeing now a Victor locked in, which is very good blind. It does a good job of keeping the Lilia out of these fights, but I kind of don't see the synergy it has with a lot of the rest of the team. In these situations, as we're seeing now a TF hover, which is very
Okay.
interesting. And now it looks like the
Yeah.
Talia jungle potentially from Doki to round out this team.
Okay.
Ooh,
J4 hover is okay here. I like the
J4 hover
J4.
does work here. I think it's never mind. We are seeing the run back from this Shen. Um, I think it. I think it did all right in that first game. But I do think that a lot of the time I don't know who the Shin is going to be ulting if they want to start him with these engages here.
Yeah, I that's a good question. Maybe Shen doesn't ult. Maybe he just plays the three abilities. have
I
the Shen,
mean,
have the ult as a TP.
hmm and now we're
That's a
looking
good
at
thing.
the Z lock in R5 here from NLR as well as Pot of Greed. Hopefully looking to punish that Victor here. And I'm actually surprised that this is the pick here, as I would assume that Victor has an okay time into this champ, as he's able to lay down his W to stop the Zed from continuously assaulting him. But still, this is a very interesting draft from both sides.
I mean, we see what kind of drafts they want to go here. I do think RAR is still gonna play. I think they're gonna play a 4v5. Looking at what we saw last game, I think we're just gonna see Feathers just split pushing the side of RAR against a Scion. That's very scary for Scion. Alawi thrives in those lanes where you really can't fight back.
Yeah.
But we don't know. Maybe Shen just. Oh no, maybe Scion just decides that he wants to throw hands instead of axes. So we'll see.
I think if NLR ever gets in the position where they're able to 5v5 straight up, I think that they are going to be able to take away those wins. But I think with RAR's comp, it makes it so difficult for them to not deal with this Alawi. With this Alawi continuously putting on that side lane pressure, I don't see someone on NLR's roster or on that team that can really match her late game. As well as potentially a Shin R to cover her on a 2v2, or potentially goes from a 1v2 to a 2v2. I think this Feathers Alawi is actually going to run away with the game if NLR is not able to shut it down.
I do agree with you right there. This Alawi is going to be a very scary thought. But maybe we'll see Pike get a bunch of resets too. We saw a really good Poppy game come out for Xerix, so Xerix might be on Reset City, collect a bunch of gold. Actually,
Mm-hmm.
support. I actually want to see the support battle because I know the best EC. He's never gotten Thresh in a game for a while, and I think he's really looking forward to play Thresh. And yeah, it's just one of those old combos back in the day or a couple years back, whereas Jinx Thresh was always going to be the thing, guarantee safety, guarantee a lot engaged. Thresh does a little bit of everything, has a good time, and
Yeah.
Jinx is just there.
I think if you want to make a name for yourself on a support, Thresh is the champ to do it, right? You have so much utility in your hook as well as your disengage with your lantern. Like you are going to be able to make a play, and I think honestly they're going to be needing to play around the CC's Thresh if they really want to take this game home.
Yeah, NOR they really need to pick right here. I think with Thresh here, with like a lot of utility here, I think once again NOR they play for maybe their first or second items, and they just start trying to run at the bottom half of the map. I really think we either shut down Alawi first, or we leave Alawi alone and pray using Q for you does not give too much gold.
Mm-hmm. I also think there is the opportunity for if NLR is able to stack objectives early on into the map, it forces potentially Feathers to show up for these team fights. Because if you're able to get those dragons, you're maybe able to get 3 dragons by 15 minutes. It starts putting a lot more pressure on RAR's side to contest the soul as well as the potential elder. Because NLR's comfort zone is these team fights, right? And while they do have that pick potential with the Zed, I think that the 5v5 is really going to be what makes or breaks that team.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, for sure. And that, folks, we will catch you right after this. We're gonna
See you guys in
go
game.
straight into the game. Yeah.
fight and hopping back into game 2 here as we see the commotion is about to commence. Coming into game 2, we see the exact same Doki Shin skin, and hopefully he's able to put up a performance like he did last game.
Do you see Shen's runes? Do you see Shen's summoners? Am I imagining this?
I'm seeing a teleport Shen in the jungle here. And I'm seeing the potential legendary TP to lane to gank it is something I'm potentially excited about. You see a little bit of trading here from Awoke, just getting a little bit of airy procking on him, no big deal. Lilia's probably going to heal it up anyways in her clear, but that's just how the champ is, right?
Yeah, I'm very surprised they played Hook champions and nobody invaded. They have Thresh and they have Pike.
Mm-hmm. I think both sides are just they're a little bit cautious, right? I am surprised that RAWR didn't do it, to be honest. I think RAWR probably is feeling really good after that game 1. Maybe they're like, we can probably make something happen, right? But no, they're just playing it out, and it actually looks like RAWR is looking for the potential level 1 cheese here with that Draven Pike, which could be very, very strong. Now we see that the Jinx and Thresh are walking into lane here, and it looks and then we see CC throws out the hook. Both hooks are thrown out, and unfortunately, it's a field goal for those two as they go right between the tailgates there. Unfortunate, but sometimes that's how it goes as hook supports, right?
Yep.
Oh, but there we see a hook come in here as we see that the Pike is able to proc his Halo Blades and get a little bit of a trade there. Nothing too crazy though. Just a little bit. They're just feeling each other out this first game too. Different supports, different matchups here. Just trying to see how it goes.
Yeah, I like it. Nothing too out of the ordinary so far. Bit of poking.
Not too much commotion. Not as crazy as it was game 1 for this side. Seems to be a little bit more evened out.
Yeah. Oh, Q dunk, level 2.
Now we see. Oh, and we're looking here at a Thresh, and he lands a massive hook there onto the Draven as he pulls himself in to avoid the Pikey, but we're seeing that the Pyke is able to apply a lot of pressure. It is supportal combat as they are dueling it out with these 80 carries, but Pyke is able to finish off that Jinx and get first blood for his team. And Jonicus is in actually a really good spot, and he's able to get the kill and the cash out as the Thresh is not able to flash over that wall and finish it off. And now, oh my gosh, it is so much action. I changed my mind, and we see the Lilia flash away from the Pike E, but it looks like this Lilia is in trouble here, especially if Doki's able to land that taunt, which he does, and it is another kill over to Doki, and 3 kills before 3 minutes for RAWR here. Oh my goodness.
Oh wow, we just ate our words. We said it was in action. 3 minutes, 3 kills.
I said, never mind. I was like, this game's gonna be slow, and then we see a ton of action, and unfortunately, that's not the start we want to be seeing. Game 2 here.
All right. Oh, NLR.
Looking up really. And also a really good trade there mid lane from Awoke, but unfortunately, he might not have the mana to keep this going as well. As we see both of the solo laners from RAWR pushing in and really getting the HP low of their counterparts. Oh, and we see Doki walking mid here. Unfortunately, he doesn't have the flash. Oh, and we see that the Zed actually decides to W back in. I think this might be a mistake from Pot of Greed, as he's now having to walk it out, but we see the flash Q, and he gets both procs there with the Airy to get that finish off. And we see, unfortunately, it is not going the way of NLR in this game.
Very, very tough. They just... Oh, it's the early game shenanigans that are happening again. RAWR is pushing their early game advantages, It's very scary.
I think especially even more than last game, this team is so heavily coded to be that early game skirmishing team. And the fact that they are getting these wins is really, really good. And they're already at a 2K gold lead at 5 minutes. And unfortunately, it's just they're not getting anything that they want, NLR is.
Yeah, the attempt to try to catch Shen there. But that's a Shen. He's very slippery.
He's stealthy. He is a ninja after all.
Do you remember when they had that ninja buff? Back in the day? They had a buff for all the ninjas.
I don't know about the ninja buff. I just remember, I know he's part of the Ionians, right? And he's one of the only energy users. As they say, only the ninjas use energy, so. But
that is true.
Now we're seeing here this gold lead is still really massive, and I think that RAWR is really going to be able to take over this game with it. But we'll see. We'll have to see. Maybe there's the opportunity for NLR to get a cheeky Thresh hook here and get a nice trade back on this Jonikis Draven, but we'll have to see, man. I think this Draven's just going to be able to stack so much gold.
He's just, you know, he's stacking his stacks, he's stacking our duration stacks right now. So if he gets a cash out again, he could possibly just snowball into maybe a best friend sword, maybe into all the other items.
Mm-hmm. And I mean, you're also looking at the item discrepancy, right, between the 280 carries here. We see Draven already with his Vamp Scepter and boots, while Jinx had to go back with just a refill pot. And while I'm a fan of refill pot, I think it's the best item in the game. I don't think it's the best item in this spot, right?
Yeah.
And I just think it's gonna be really tough.
Yeah, we're just seeing feathers poke out using Q for you though. This I really Alawi versus Sion matchup is just destroying the Sion's life. His hit points are just disappearing, and it's just.
Oh, and we see actually the Sion choose to ult in, and while the Alawi is able to ult as well, we see a flash away from Feathers, but now with Sion having he is in a absolute bullet hell right now as he's trying to dodge all of the tentacles, but unfortunately he cannot dodge the Shin that comes in with the taunt. But now we are seeing another scuffle between these junglers here as Doki is getting himself involved, but he's able to walk away as the Lily is not able to sleep him just yet.
It's very interesting. The top lane, that was a very good secure. We're just seeing, again, RAWR's bot lane just making NLR, like, if you step up, we're going to trade, so.
Yep. And now we're seeing a potential, we're seeing a very, very good engage there from the Pyke as he's able to get the E into hook combo. And that is just a diced Thresh as Jonikis is able to pick up that kill.
For the bot side of RAWR. Xerax is he's one of the stars I'm seeing right now, you know? Very good.
Like I said, he put on a performance game 1, and honestly, this game 2 performance, he's showing up this series.
Ooh,
But we're seeing actually a very, very, very good trade here from Doki as Notorious is able to finish it off. That is not a good trade for Doki as Doki trades his life for absolutely nothing there.
A little greedy for the last grip, you know? I understand that, jungler greed.
Hey, man. Sometimes when you see a grub, your eyes go red and you just know you got to get it. Oh, and we see, as the Draven ultimate is not able to get that second hit. But we see, he's not able to get the Q through the Raptors to get Pot of Greed here. But we are seeing a scuffle here as Zed is choosing to ult in with Deathmark. And it looks like that's going to be able to take off the Xerath, which it does. But now we see that the Victor is able to apply so much pressure to that Lily and take it down. But we see Sion and Thresh into this fight right now. Sion and Thresh are wailing on Victor here. If Thresh is able to get a hook onto this champ, it's good lights out for him. But we see a massive stun with a W there, as well as a taunt, double taunt there from Doki. But Doki is hooked, as well as the Sion Q, which unfortunately whiffs. Shin is now able to finish off the Thresh, but we see that Sion and the tanks are now in a tank battle, just wailing on each other. Unfortunately, it's another missed Q, but they are trading auto for auto. But this looks like a fight that Doki, unfortunately, is going to lose. As now we see that the Alawi is coming in with the Tentacle Slam, and Sion now walks away with that a little bit richer with 1 kill there. Oh my goodness, what is this? And we see the Pyke come in with the kill, and he's able to get his money and get his bounty there. This is a battle, and we see the Zed go in with W now, getting a massive trade onto the Pyke, but I think Pyke is so slippery and he's so invisible, he's going to be able to get out of that.
That was actually a very good call on Xerax there to pick up a free kill. You know, free 30 gold. 300 gold, giving it to the mid laner also, you know, sharing the love.
And you know, I like how we were talking about how this game was a little bit slower at the start, and now we are at the point where it is 13 minutes even before 10 minutes, or 13 kills before 10 minutes here. It has just been absolutely action-packed, especially in that topside jungle for Red. But I think this game is, honestly, they have more kills than they had in game 1, which is a plus. But we're just seeing, honestly, domination and very good trading and overall map control from the side of RAWR here.
Oh yeah. I thought RAWR couldn't step on the gas, but I guess they're stepping on the gas even more. This foot does not leave the gas pedal.
I will say one benefit that I am seeing from the side of NLR is the Zed actually has almost a 20 CS lead up on Victor here, which is actually not how you would expect this lane to go at all. You would honestly expect it to be the opposite side. So maybe this Zed could be a potential win condition for this NLR roster. But we will have to see, especially how these fights play out, as now we see the Lilia on the Dragon, potentially getting caught out by the Pike here, as the Lily is able to flash, but not able to flash out of that stun, as the Draven is able to finish her off, but the Jinx Rocket, unfortunately, is unable to get the kill. Next up, as we move to top lane, we see a massive Alawi ultimate, as we're going to see if the Sion is able to get away from this. Hopefully, he dodges all these tentacles, and it looks like he's going to be able to get out.
Then RAWR is going to take Dragon off of this for that exchange of killing Lilia there. NOR, they're looking they're looking like they're in a very bad spot.
You know, there have been teams in better spots. I will be honest, but yeah, it just seems like I said, nothing is really going NLR's way here. We're seeing potentially a little bit of commotion here at that tri-brush, but nothing happens out as they just have a little bit of a vision battle here. Oh, as Zed chooses to flash away here from the potential W. It's a very good trade there for the Victor, as it looks like it was ult from the Victor, but the Victor still has his TP up. So this is a very, very bad spot for Zed, because if I'm in a Wilk's position here, I choose to try to crash this wave, look to get a TP advantage, and use my HP and my mana to really, really bully this Zed and make him miss a couple waves here.
Oh yeah.
Now moving up. Sorry, now moving up, we see that the Feathers is having to force to flash as he's lilting Lullaby and put to sleep, but I don't think that NLR has enough damage to take out this Alawi here. As it looks like they are actually committing hard as they use the Scion ulti here, but we get a shit all in return, and then we see that the Scion now unfortunately falls.
Very ambitious play from NLR there. They were really hoping that they could try to get this Alawi, but I think they didn't pull the trigger a little bit earlier. Maybe they would with a Scion ult, maybe with a Lily ult, but they weren't there to connect both their ults there. So I think that's why NLR's jungle and top lane, they couldn't kill the Alawi.
I think with a little bit more communication between those two, potentially using the lilting Lullaby right into the Scion ultimate, there's an angle where he isn't under his tower for that fight, but unfortunately it didn't work out, and Feathers is able to take that first tower. And now we're seeing another fight here as the Lilia is caught out by the Pike as well as the Victor, but it looks like she's able to run away here, and nothing ends up happening for it, but Doki is able to secure those grubs for RAWR here. And this Lily is just not able to get anything done.
Very scary state for NLR.
And we're seeing a fight brew out. Draven is caught out here with a hook from Thresh, but the TP in from Doki, the jungle TP to potentially get them out of this situation as the Jinx flashes over the wall into her jungle, as we are seeing 4 members of NLR come in and wail on this Shen, and it looks like Doki is in a little bit over his head as the Jinx is able to take that kill, get a reset, and now they are going in. They're continuing the escapade with the Jinx rocket. Unfortunately, it field goals, but we are seeing a very, very good play here from NLR here, as they're actually able to get the positive trade.
Very good. The shutdown does go on to Jinx too, so we're going to see probably Kraken Slayer finished, and yeah, I'm very, very good stuff for NLR, giving it to their Jinx, their carry. No one else is really taking the kill, so it would have been good on Zed. It would have been good on Lilia, maybe on Thresh. But
and we see Xerxes is able to maybe able to sneak out of that tower, but unfortunately they are losing a massive wave as well as a lot of platings off of that bot lane tower. But Doki's here to save the day and potentially soak up a little bit of pressure, but honestly, they lost a ton from that play, and that could potentially be a good swing in NLR's favor. But on the top side of the map, Feathers said, actually, no, I'm gonna still take over, as he's up 40 farm and 2 towers on this Scion.
Oh yeah. Yeah, Feathers showing his allowing, why they banned it. He's just split pushing. He's just like, all right, I'm just gonna good luck to the rest of my teammates. You guys can play the 4. I'll just take all your towers, farm my own lane, have a good time.
And CC's hook barely missing Doki there. I think if that hook connected, that is a for sure fire kill. But it honestly looks like Doki is kind of sitting in no man's land right now. But honestly, wait a minute. The Pike and the Victor are here to back him up as we see a flash E from Pike and a hook. It looks like this Lilia might be caught out now, but the redemption potentially coming in from Doki, and it looks like a kill goes over to Doki as well.
Yeah, that was a very that was a good placement for the redemption there for Doki. Draven there coming to close the gap there, making sure that they had enough damage to kill Lilia there. Very good.
Keep being able to secure it, and I honestly think from that they're going to be able to break open this mid turret, which really opens up the rest of the map for RAWR to really be able to choke out that vision. And I think this is a great spot. Oh, and we see another hook land from this Pike, but the Zed is choosing to R the Doki, and it looks like Doki is able to barely get out of it with his life. And now we see a Scion ult come in. Unfortunately, misses both Jonicus as the Draven and the Pike here, but we are seeing so much commotion as Doki is now caught out by the Jinx R. But now there is just so much chaos going on in this bot side jungle here.
Yeah, it's just, I guess this is just the RAWR special, just constantly fight. We're 16 minutes in. There's 19 kills on the board.
I mean, hey, that's kind of the games you want to see, right? These games have been nothing but spicy, right? You're seeing so much fighting, and it's like I haven't had a chance to breathe, right? I've been casted so much here. I've just been playing all these fights, and I think that's what the audience is liking to see. So it's good on our end.
Very good. We do see they're taking Rift Herald here for the side of RAWR. Doki not even needed.
Doki not even needed, as he is now maybe looking at the potential Mountain Drake that popped up. As he said, there's no way this jungler's taking anything on his watch, right? But NLR is in a very good position here, as we see a hook come out from CC's death, but it looks like the Pike is going to be able to get away. You know, not enough damage to take out that guy yet, and Harbinger of the Sea, but... So from this perspective, we see that the Jinx does have a good amount of gold on her, but we also have a Draven who has not died yet with so many stacks of Adoration. We're seeing still very, very close game, especially on the 80 side, but the gold difference, especially top side, is really starting to catch up to them.
Oh yeah, this is a very scary point for LNR. They will have to make a pick, try to catch up, maybe. Otherwise, I think RAWR is just gonna go with the game. Oh.
And we're seeing a hook, unfortunately, go wide there. The Zed probably is going to be able to get out there. He just W's back, but still just applying a lot of pressure to him. Honestly, these supports and junglers should be looking to apply a lot of pressure to these side laners who are just trying to push up here. The Scion, the Zed are going to have such a hard time getting that farm with these two menaces, that Shin and that Pike. So, I don't know. I think this is just very hard for the solo laners to get caught back up into this. As now we see Awoke on the Victor is going for a very aggressive trade, as we actually see a flash come in, but now we also cut to a fight in the mid lane here as Pike is able to get a massive hook here on the Jinx, as Victor was able to get the solo kill bot lane, but we're seeing a massive fight here as the Pike is R'd in, as well as Doki R'd to get the fight going, but we are seeing so much action going on right now as Doki is forced to E out, but it looks like he's going to be ran down by the Lilia. And unfortunately, it looks like nothing else is going to be happening. We see a Victor actually TP in here, but also on the top side of the map with a Rift Herald, Feathers is absolutely ending the game right now, attacking that top lane inhibitor. There is just so much commotion going on and so much action.
Yeah, very, very good point for RAWR there. Just playing the map, knowing that Alawi can do that. We do see that in that kind of commotion of looking for...
And does he...
Oh,
and he actually uses the Rift Herald to land into Feathers, but unfortunately he gets hooked because of it. It looks like Feathers is going to drop. No, the tower does not get that final tick of damage. And we see the Zed have to flash in to get that final kill, but this is absolutely looking fantastic for RAWR, as the Draven is untouched in this backline, as if he's able to apply these auto attacks. But right now, this UB Awesome is applying so much damage with these rockets. It's actually looking very favorable for NLR. As it looks like the Scion is still choosing to chase after Doki, but it looks like they're going to be able to get out of this.
that was a very good play from RAWR. A little bit greedy, but Draven gets out with 2 kills, and now we just see Draven just straight up bought IE and Last Whisper. It's a very scary Draven.
That is a bad showman for sure. And while I will say these fights, while they look very close on paper, but we have to also account for the fact that Feathers is at most of the time not here. Most of the time he is still continuing to be putting so much pressure on this map. Look at that top. Top is completely exposed here, and now he's choosing to go bot, and he said, I'm going to do the exact same thing to this lane. So while these fights, they look good on paper, I think that they really need to, or NLR really needs to snowball these fights if they want to have a chance in. But now we're seeing the Pike go in with E and the Q, but Scion uses his ulti to not be disabled to get out of that hook.
It's a good force for the side of RAWR. Oh,
Oh, and we're seeing a W under the Scion here. I'm wondering if they have the damage here to actually take out the Scion. While they are fed, that is still a Scion at the end of the day. And thankfully here for him, he has the Warmog's passive to potentially be able to heal back off of this. So if RAWR isn't careful, they could potentially get caught out, but it is looking like NLR is safe as of now.
Very good for side NR, you know. The forces going back and forth, trying to get a pick. You know, NR's trying to figure out if they can get something like that. Good thing side did not get loaded. Oh,
And we are seeing a pot of greed as he stood up too soon. And unfortunately, he gets caught out by the 3 members of RAWR, as we see the other 2 members of RAWR attempting to take this Baron here. But I don't think, even with the contestation from both that Lily and the Thresh, I think they're not going to be able to get anything done there.
and Sion just getting outpoked, but this just with Victor and allowing there, losing a lot of HP trying to protect this inhib tower. I don't believe that inhib tower is going to stand long.
Not with those 2 on the case. And I think it is potentially going to be dropping off of this next wave. And RAWR is doing such a good job of applying pressure both on the bot side of the map as well as the top side of the map, as the Draven and Shin are wailing on this Baron here. Unfortunately, it is not going down as fast as I was hoping, especially with the Lilia potentially in the area.
Oh yeah, it's the solo kill.
Solo kill as Xerix is going in a little bit, getting a little bit done here, but they are now caught as Doki is caught with the hook, as it looks like Doki might have been caught out here, but Thresh is the only one in the pit right now, as Jonicus is just getting free reign to hit, as we see that Lily is now able to take out the Shin, but the Jonicus Draven is able to get it absolutely done, and while they didn't get the big giant worm at the end of the day, double kill is good enough for them.
Yeah.
As now we cut down to the bot lane fight, and we see that Awoke Manaless is having to fight off against the giant juggernaut that is Sion, and Jinx, who is crazy with some rockets, but it looks like he's going to be able to walk out here. It's unfortunate. It does not look like the Sion is going to be able to catch.
That RAWR bear in there, you know, it looked like NLR could have a chance there, but then the Thresh and Lantern. Oh, Pike.
As we see the Pike is going in. A teammate is coming. Jonicus is coming in with that Draven saying, hey guys, what is going on? But still, we are in... Oh my gosh, this game has been nothing but a banger. As we see that Doki is now still on the Baron. Doki, I do not know if you have the damage with Redemption Locket to solo this Baron, but maybe with Jonicus you can make it happen.
Oh,
I don't know,
Jonicus
as Xerix
chunking the
is...
Baron.
Oh, Xerix is now in the topside jungle, and it looks very similar to what happened when he got solo killed by that Lilia, as CC flashes in looking for that nice hook. And oh, we see that Doki now is choosing to ulti this Pike, but unfortunately he's not able to get through the death mark. As we see Doki is now out of position here potentially, as we see he's hooked, as the Jinx is able to free hit. Lilia gets a massive double kill here, and we see that Feathers is getting absolutely wailed on. Jinx is able to absolutely shred through that team. Now we see the Sion ult in, but he's unfortunately killed before he gets his final hit off. And we see it ends up being a 2-for-1 on the side of NLR.
Oh, very good. NLR picking it back up. They're like, okay, you know, Jinx has 2 items. They're ready to rumble. I like this a lot. This is the big game I wanted for to see what NLR can do. So hopefully we get to see what they can really do here. Well, they are showing, but hopefully we see the spike up where they're like, okay, we can just let's do it. We can fight now. We can like create more plays now, since everyone is a little bit item up.
And like we said earlier in this game, I do think the overall 5v5 team fight from the side of NLR is stronger. As we can see, this Jinx is honestly not getting contested too much in these fights. So if she's able to continuously throw rockets in this fight, NLR does potentially have a chance to bring this back. Especially with the hyperfixation that RAWR has on this Baron, as we see that Doki might potentially be caught out here, as he is chained with the Scion Q into the Thresh Q into the death mark from Zed, as it looks like Doki is going to be falling again.
Pick for the NLR there. Doki mistakenly dashing towards Baron, that causes Dev not having a mobility skill, and everyone else on NLR being there to catch him. So
As we see now, NLR is choosing to walk down to this Drake, take this Cloud Drake, which is one of my favorites, because we see it's going to be a Cloud Soul, which is absolutely impactful for whoever gets, because of the amount of move speed you get. You're able to get to plays faster, as well as just apply so much pressure. And now we see that Drake is falling. And NLR is slowly looking like there's a little bit of life in them.
Good. We're seeing NLR step it up. You know, they're like, okay, it's our time now. I'm liking it a lot. Now we see that they're ready to rumble.
Mm-hmm. Hey, all I'm saying is I'm glad that they are continuing to fight this. While they might be down in towers here, I will say that they're putting up a great fight. And honestly, if it gets to late enough game, if the fight goes their way, they might be able to just walk it down mid and end the game just off like that.
A 4-item Jinx full crit is a very scary threat if you cannot hit the Jinx. So
Mm-hmm. She's a bit of a problem. But I will say the name of the game here should still be to let Feathers do his job, right? Like, if you can, I think he's able to easily match the Zed, easily match the Scion. If he's able to bring 2, even 3 people to these side lanes, I think that with the Victor and the Draven present, they should be able to shred that Baron.
I do agree there with that. Yeah. Hopefully Feathers is hopefully we're still sticking to that plan. They're like, okay, we just group S4, let our Alawi do its thing, and if NLR decides to fight Alawi, I think that would be a big mistake there because that gives a lot of pressure to RAWR that they can start doing other objectives.
Yep. Right, you are. I also think the Shen ult has to be accounted for when you consider fighting the Alawi on side, as we have to consider that it will eventually, a fight that we thought was uneven, eventually becomes even with that Shen present. But also, the downside of having the Shen ult to go get the Alawi is he's not there for Baron. So potentially, if a Lily is sitting in the bush, we could get a really nice Baron steal from them.
Oh yeah, well we see the position.
Oh, and we see a massive taunt in from Doki as he's able to land it on 3 and the carries. But we now see that Jonicus is trying to apply as much damage as possible. But now we see that UB Awesome is able to absolutely fry the backline here, as well as the Lilia. The Lilia is getting so much damage here. Oh, and we see that UB Awesome tries to flash in, and the W lands. And now we cut over to top, and we see that Feathers is able to solo kill the Zed. Feathers is uncontested in this base right now. And he is going to take that inhibitor with a smile on his face.
That was a very good ult from NLR, Notorious TLP. The Lilia ult there, catching 3 members there. Draven being asleep made NLR able to step up and be like, okay, we can turn it now. This is our game.
Mm-hmm.
This is our fight. That was very good. Very good for the side of NLR.
Very good play there for sure. And I think, like I said, these fights, they're obviously they're going even, but Feathers is not at these fights, and he's able to apply so much pressure. As we can see, Feathers is now TPing top. He said, hey, I want that top inhib again. And I think there is potential. But also, we got to look at the Lily and the Thresh that are hovering around that Alawi. So maybe they can stop her this time. Oh, little cheeky hook there from Xerix. Nothing to come of it this time, though, as most of the damage dealers are still in base. But we're seeing a lot of control for this vision here around Baron. But we will see. We'll see if anything comes of it. I think most likely a team will have to get a couple picks or win a team fight if they want to get this Baron for free.
Yeah, I do agree there. It's based on who has one less member and who can can burn it down or not too.
So now we're seeing the action slowed down a little bit. Right now, most of the members of RAWR are topside, with Scion potentially looking to take the first tower for NLR on that bot wave. But if they have to be careful here, as the Thresh is looking to potentially start something, but he doesn't find anything, and it looks like Scion is going to be able to take that tower and that objective bounty for NLR.
Oh yeah, for sure. Getting this objective bounty for NLR here is it's a good thing, but it does mean that RAWR can just decide that if they want to start something, they can, and Scion would have to TP for it. Could be a power play.
Sion's actually choosing to TP right now, which is very surprising, as no Baron was started at the moment. I think they believed that Baron was potentially started. But it looks like Xerix is just doing a great job of denying the vision of NLR and not letting them be able to see, forcing that Sion TP out. But with that Sion TP, they're choosing to potentially group and look for an angle, but now Doki is taunting in on the Sion. An unlucky candidate, but that Sion is continuing to get CC'd, but he's Thresh lanterned out, and NLR walks away.
That was hey, that could have gone very differently both ways. It could have just been a whole bloodbath, but now we're just, seeing what happens.
And now we see the Scion ulti in. It whiffs, but it is able to cut off Awoke's escape path as the Chompers laid down, and we see the Thresh hook come in. Awoke is still not taken down, though, as Doki goes in to buy Awoke time, but the Jinx absolutely has so much space here, unless Jonikis is able to come in and ult, but no, we see that Jonikis is unable to get in here. Oh, we're seeing he's now on it, and he gets the massive shutdown on the Jinx, and now he's wailing on the Scion. He gets the double kill here, and while he has to be afraid of the zombie, I think it's still going to be a massive win here for RAWR.
I think RAWR just kind of closes it up here, right? They only have 3 members on NLR, but Draven, the ADC of RAWR, is still alive. You know, Draven was packing a punch. He basically almost 3-shotted Jinx in the back there, knowing that he can just walk up and have Axe. You know, Axes give bonus range, so he's having a good time.
I think when you have to consider that the only real damage threat here is this Lilia in the fight, where Lilia has to get right in front of your face, it's very hard with those 3, the Alawi, the Pyke, the Draven, because if the Lilia shows up, they are going to absolutely blow her up. And now we're sitting here with an open Nexus and a TP in from Doki, the jungler. I think they're going to be looking at this Nexus as this last-ditch team fight here happens, and we see that all of the members are trying to battle it out. We see Lilia get a lot, but unfortunately it's not enough. And RAWR takes the series 2-0.
Interesting, you know, very interesting games. A lot of bloodbath. Everyone's having a good time just trying to dunk in, dunk out.
That was nothing but crazy is all I'll say. That was a action-packed series. Unfortunately, most of the action went the way of RAWR. They were able to take their leads, especially in that game too. They were able to use that early game comp in a lot of ways and really just snowball with it. As we see that 10-1-6 performance from Jonikis on the Draven, a champ that a lot of people are kind of worried to bring out, but we see a masterclass from him in this game.
You know, we do have to give props to RAWR support. Yeah, he actually like they actually pulled it very, you know, strong. I honestly think he's you know, the Poppy was good, the Pyke was good. I really like this aggressive style from their bottling of RAWR. You know, I think we have to give props to the support. He was going like he was just making sure everyone was going
Absolutely.
through it. You know,
I
very
would
scary.
say, yeah, I would say the player of the series for sure to me is Xerax. I think his performance on Poppy as well as this Pyke, while his KDA might not have shown it game 2, I think he was able to apply so much pressure everywhere on the map, not just bot lane, and it just made the lives of UB Awesome and CC just so hard. And Jonikis was able to reap the rewards of that, and RAWR as a whole was able to really get a clean victory today.
Yeah, I do agree with that too. Yeah, and you know, I'm very blessed that we get to see NLR support play Thresh. I know everyone's been banning it, and you know, it did perform today. It didn't underperform. It performed to what I would think you know, CC would play it, and I'm pretty happy that I get to see it one game at least before
Oh,
you know we end
absolutely.
there.
But you want to know? You want to talk about another champ that wasn't banned that often we don't get to see is the Feathers Alawi, the champ that has, I believe he has a 100% win rate when he has picked that champ this so far in LXC, and he showed exactly why. Flame Horizoning the Scion here, as well as just applying so much pressure on the side of the maps. While the rest of the team was fighting, he was fighting his demons while hitting those towers, and he was winning that battle today for sure.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, like looking at it too, I've never seen like pretty scary stuff. You know, we get to see a lot of picks come out, have a blast. I think for sure both teams put up a good fight. Liked it a lot.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah.
I will say, while RAR is able to move up in the standings here, it is unfortunate that NLR was not able to take this series, as I believe it makes their run and their chances at getting playoffs very, very hard. They have to beat both Dropping Point as well as I believe NLE moving forward, and those are going to be very, very difficult matches for them. So unfortunately, the series didn't go their way today, but hopefully with a little bit of time, take some time off, rethink, regroup, and get yourself ready to go for next week, right?
I do agree there. Hopefully, we do see NLR make it. You know,
Mm-hmm.
it'll be interesting to see. This team has a lot of potential. Yeah, that's what I gotta say.
Mm-hmm. And like I said, I think UB Awesome still had a very, very good performance on the Jinx. While some of the things didn't go his way, he was holding it down, only died 3 times in that really bloody game, and was applying a whole lot of damage. So I think that bot lane, while they might have gotten gapped a little bit today by Xerix and Jonicus, I think that is still a very bright side for that team, and I think that is going to be one of the ways they win moving forward, is through them.
I do agree there.
All right, thank you everybody. Thank you everybody so much for watching this week of Sentinels. We hope to see you back next week as well as tomorrow for the Crusader match. It's a bit of a shout out, but it's bare minimum versus Galaxy, and I'm actually the bare minimum mid laner, so you guys all better be there. Is all I'm saying.
All right,
So.
rooting against Badger. I mean,
What
we're
the
going to support
heck,
him.
man?
We're going to support
There's no
him.
way, no way, no way. All right, but thank you so much, guys, for watching. I really appreciate it. This was a great opportunity, and I loved being here. Also, thank you so much, Lala. It was a great time casting with you.
Oh, yes, thanks for casting with you too. You know, I hope you win tomorrow. I mean, lose. I mean, win.
No, it's win for sure. I gotta win.
Casting curse.
All right,
right.
thank you so much, guys.